Hey everyone, this is Jay Tahoe here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about political corruption in Suffolk County and New York State on the whole. And this is pretty interesting because for me, right, I am a resident of New York State and I'm a resident of Suffolk County. And for those of you who've been following the political corruption case of Thomas Spota, he was found guilty on obstruction of justice and is due to be sentenced this coming Monday. So I'll definitely make a reaction video, after the sentence is handed down. For those of you who don't know the entire backstory with Thomas Spota, extremely corrupt district attorney in Suffolk County, who basically covered for our corrupt police chief who beat a suspect in custody in handcuffs because the suspect stole the police chief's personal pornography collection, which actually may have had evidence linking him to the Gilgo Beach killer. If you haven't seen the podcast Unraveled with Alexis Linkletter and Billy Jensen, definitely check that out, because there's strong evidence that points that maybe if it's not Burke himself, he likely knows the identity of the Gilgo Beach killer, and has done his behavior has been he's tried to throw everybody off the trail. I won't go into the whole backstory. Maybe we'll do a stream on that at some point. But he refused help from the FBI when they offered assistance in investigating the killings. He asked other police departments not to investigate. So it's just very suspicious. It seems like he was trying to, by all accounts, have the killer not be caught. And then Spota and Burke, were very good friends. But when Burke beat up Christopher Loeb, had him chained to the floor in the 4th precinct, and beat the crap out of Loeb and threatened his family and did all kinds of stuff like that. Spota covered for him because Spota, is the highest prosecuting attorney in the land here, and he vouched for Burke. And you can bet that if Burke got caught, right, for beating up Loeb, you can bet there were other people that he roughed up and threatened and tried to intimidate that he got away with. It was only because it was Loeb coming public that got Burke caught, and Burke did have to resign and did see jail time, right? He went to jail from 2016 through 2019, and I believe he's now on house arrest on probation. But Spota really covered up for him, and we've known that Spota, it just doesn't get more corrupt than that. And me personally, the feds are asking for 20 years, and we looked it up, and the sentencing guideline for this would be anywhere between 4 and 6 in federal prison. But I do hope that they go very, very hard on these people, because this kind of here's the thing: when you have corruption at this level of the government, it makes it hard for us as citizens to trust our elected officials, to trust our people who are appointed to various positions. So when they turn around and abuse that position for personal gain and, cover up things like, beating up suspects illegally and possibly literally murders, that makes it very hard to trust in our agencies that are supposed to be here to help us. And they're being paid on the taxpayer dime, right? Like, we're literally paying, for example, Jimmy Burke, right? The disgraced police chief, who's now no longer chief and did see jail time. The fact that he even got promoted, right? After, hiring a prostitute, right? Screwing the prostitute in a police vehicle, in uniform, not securing his weapon. There is all proof of this, by the way. It's a public disciplinary record. The fact that he wasn't even fired and got promoted multiple times is pretty just mind-blowing. But so for covering all this and helping Burke climb the ranks, and just abusing his position to that level, I really hope that they make an example of Spota, and we go after and hold these corrupt politicians accountable. And then that brings us to Big Daddy Cuomo. So Big Daddy Cuomo now has 11 accusers. Big Daddy Cuomo, right, our lovely governor Andrew Cuomo loves to wield his power like a dictator, right? Telling businesses what time they can close, when they can open, pushing people into bankruptcy, making the situation that we're in right now. Okay, yes, like it was a public health crisis, but I do believe it was, and we did a whole stream on this, a little while ago, but I do believe it was unconstitutional for him to tell businesses what time they have to close and when they can close. If you are a proprietor of a gym, right, and you have to close, you're not seeing any type of compensation for that. Ooh, a $1,400 stimulus, like what is that? Like, that's not even a week's revenue. Like, you can't, and they're not paying your overhead. Like, what? There better be some type of tax grievance or something for those owners. But anyway, Cuomo just decided, that he could do that. So he wielded his power much like a dictator. And the interesting thing, right, is that now that there's 11 accusers, including a state trooper who was on his private security detail, who are accusing them. And Cuomo is denying all. He goes, "Oh, that's just how I show affection. That's what I do." And it's like, buddy, you out there, you playing grab ass involuntarily. That's not how you show affection. But I do want to say for the people who are on the left, you guys were up in arms about Kavanaugh, who possibly did or didn't do it, right? So where you got to be equally outraged about Cuomo then, right? Because 11 accusers, and they all stated it was very involuntary, and he continued to grope them. You got to have the same outrage that you had for Kavanaugh then. If we're going to hold one politician, accountable, we got to hold them all accountable. And for the record, I do think that, that if it's substantiated that Cuomo did this, yeah, he should face legal charges. And I watched that press conference with our state attorney, Letitia James, and she's not playing games. I do think he's going to have to resign. It's funny. My brother said that I wonder if he'll get an Emmy for his resignation speech too, because they gave Governor Cuomo an Emmy for his speeches in his press briefings about COVID-19, which was strange, but whatever. Hopefully they'll rename the Tappan Zee Bridge. He also just decided he was going to name it after his father, and he named it the Mario Cuomo Bridge. I don't know what gives him the authority to do that. He didn't pay for that bridge. Taxpayers did. And it also just confuses the hell out of people because it's always been the Tappan Zee Bridge. And now he just decided to rename it. So, yeah, I don't know. Interesting stuff. But, yeah, I will. I'm curious to see what the judge is going to give Spota. I hope they hold him accountable to the fullest extent of the law. He certainly deserves it. And I hope Cuomo will resign. If he did this, he should be held accountable just as you would with Kavanaugh. Even though they found that to be, even though he was proven innocent in court. So, Cuomo will get his day in court too. But let's hear the evidence. But yeah, I do think that Cuomo has abused his power. Spota certainly did abuse his power, and hopefully this is just an age where we don't tolerate this from our politicians anymore, and we see real accountability. And politicians hopefully learn from this. And I know that's wishful thinking to say to hope politicians don't abuse their power. Of course they're going to, but just when it's like this gross of an abuse of power, like something has to be done, and we need very strict accountability. So anyway, here's hoping that they really make an example of Spota and don't let him off easy. And also Cuomo needs to be held accountable too. But we'll see what happens, and I'll make a reaction once the judge hands down the sentence. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.